This is going to be a cold start. So this is a 1986 Mercedes-Benz 420 SEL, and the 420 stands for the 4.2 liter that resides under the hood. So it is a V8, a very clean engine. This air box here had a crack in it, so that's been taped off and probably needs to be replaced. You can hear the compressor going. The AC blows very cold. Most of the components have been replaced on that, on the braking system. If you look up in here, this is fairly new. Battery is fairly new. So the story behind this car, I picked it up about 2 years ago, and the lady I purchased it from inherited it from her sister who had passed away. Now her sister had kept very good records, and I'm going to include all of those. The transmission was rebuilt. Most of these are documented till 2017, and you can see by the mileage and the year that the car does reflect that, even though we're going to talk about that. The odometer is currently not working, not sure what happened, but the car is very close to the mileage that shows on there, maybe off by a few hundred, max 1,000 miles since I've been driving it. But the story about the car is that it sat for a little while till she inherited it, and then sold it off, and I was able to purchase it. And she gave me all the documentation showing the transmission rebuild, the AC work, the brake work. And you can see the interior is in very good condition, minus a few wear marks on the back seat here. You see that right there. The plastic for the third brake light is missing because it became brittle and fell out. And up front, you'll see there's some fading in the color of the seat, so I highly suggest a redye, which was my plans on this. The dashboard is in excellent condition with no cracks. Wood pieces are in excellent condition. Now, the previous owner had screwed this piece down, but this is an easy one to replace and not that expensive, so that can be done. And then we move on to our passenger seat. Had a very small crack when I purchased it, and unfortunately it's extended a little bit, but that is an easier repair to do on this type of seat. Something I had planned on doing if I was going to keep this car. Sunroof works, so let's step on inside. You'll see here, sunroof opens, no leaks in that. Closes, and it'll tilt too. And you can see the tilt. Now I'm going to put the tilt back down. You'll see the seal doesn't seem like it's sealing off perfectly, but no leaks are on the inside. This car is left outside under a cover, but it has been in the rain. I've never seen any leaks. And actually, now that I fully closed it back down, the seal seemed to settle out. It was actually a little bubbled over there before I did that. So maybe it just needed to seat a little bit better. Let's go around this side. Oh yeah, you can see a little bit of dirt that was probably just caught up in there. So looks like it's seated nicely now, so that's good news. So that's nice and seated. Trunk is very clean. I am going to be putting a few extra parts in here that I'm not going to install, but I have a new tail light because this one down here has a little crack in it. So you'll have that came off of I think the same car. And the antenna stopped working, but I have a working one that is broken inside the casing, but the antenna itself and everything works, so you can swap over parts. Spark plug wires, I did replace a couple of them that had gone bad, and I got the whole set remaining here, so that can be done very, very easily. And set this off to the side so we can take a look at our spare. I'm also going to include a toolbox that came out of one of my W140s. But you can see the spares in very good shape. Trunk's in very nice shape. You can see up here. Okay, and so I'll do a full walk around of the outside. From what I know, this is the original paint based on the pinstriping and initials that are on here. It's a hand-painted pinstriping. And if you look at this door here, you're gonna see initials. The paint's not in perfect shape. You can see it's kind of drying out here, but I did get it ceramic coated recently. I actually did it myself, and it came out very, very good. It really revived some of the paint on this. Tires and rims, these are obviously not the stock, but I'm gonna include the stock. The reason why these are on here is because the tires that were on there are very old and they're very, very dry rotted. I wanted to be able to test drive this car, make sure everything was good to go, since it hadn't been driven that often lately. And so it's probably been sitting for 3 months without going on a long drive. So I decided to put these on here, and I will include these as well, because these have very good tires on them, and that kind of allowed me to take it on the highway and test everything out. AC, when I got the car, the AC had been fully redone, but it was leaking here, so I replaced this piece, filled it, and so far it's been good. I haven't had any issues with it, so the AC is working fully. Now on the AC, the control panel, you'll see it's on red. I swapped this control panel out from another car because the buttons were sticking on the one when I got it. So I had to replace that control panel, and it's a reverse from the original one. So the red is gonna be cold and the blue is gonna be your hot. So just kind of note that down. And as far as rust goes, this is the only spot that I know where there's any rust, and it's not bad. I did put some rust stopper on it when I first purchased it, just to kind of relieve it from extending, but this will need to be ground down, probably a new piece of metal welded in there, but not a major job. Now on the hood, we're going to take this for a spin now, and I'll show you guys it's been fully warmed up, and I wanted to get it warmed up to take it for a ride. When we shut the hood, you'll see this side is not shutting. That is because the latch here is no longer clicking in. I did look into getting a new one, just never got around to doing that, and so that's going to be something that needs to be done too. So let's go ahead and step inside, and we'll talk about any of the other issues or concerns I want you to know about, and then we'll take it for a drive and you guys can see how it drives. Okay, so you can see here the temperature is right under the 80 Celsius, which that's where it just stays. It does not move from there. I'm in Florida, it gets very hot, and I've taken this car in the middle of the summer last year and this year, and it doesn't move. The mileage shows 128,370. Recently, that odometer stopped working. I'm not sure what's wrong with it, but when I purchased the car, the odometer was working, and you can see by the documentation of when the repairs were done, I think some of them say 126,000, but those will all be in the description. I'll have photos of that. You can see the other gauges work. I'll give it a little gas. You can see the RPMs work. And I want to talk about one thing as well. Now, I had repaired this, and it came back when it was, you know, like I said, it had been sitting for about 3 months. I would start it up occasionally, but hadn't taken it on any major drives. Now, this anti-lock brake will come on every once in a while, but the brakes do work really good, and I'm not sure what's causing that, except it might need to be bled, or the sensors might need to be cleaned. Okay, so let's go ahead now, put it into drive. This transmission shifts very smoothly, which is very nice. The steering feels very, very good on this car. The acceleration is what it should be for the year. Not amazing, but the car does have decent torque and decent pickup. It can keep up with modern traffic, so that's nice. I have replaced some of the suspension components, including the dampener, as well as the tie rods. So tie rods are new, and the car has been recently aligned, so alignment is good on this car. And you'll see here it looks like the anti-lock light has come on, but the brakes do stop very, very good. So the braking is very good. I am not sure what's causing that, but that is one of the small issues that you'll have to look at. My guess is it just needs to be bled. I bled the whole system out when I got the car because it was vibrating, shuddering when I would brake, and the anti-lock brake light would come on. I bled the system, went away, and like I said, the car hasn't been regularly driven for the last 3 months, so that issue did come back, and I don't know if it's just older fluid that's in the system now, or if the sensors need to be cleaned. So that is something you will have to look at. The blinkers work, lights work, brake lights work, so everything on that is functioning fine. Okay, back at the shop now on a long drive there, and it is pretty hot out today, and you'll see it's just under 80 there, so the temperature does hold very, very well. Now, let's talk about what the car needs. The front windows are both not working. The rears are, so those need to be looked at. It could be switches, but it also could be the motor, so just keep that in mind. This latch needs to be fixed here. Small patch of rust right there, and then the anti-lock light that comes on. So those are really the only things that I know of that are wrong with this car. It is a beautiful example of a well-maintained 420 SEL that's been a Florida car for most of its life. Any questions you guys may have, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you for watching.